Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner Studio, and with me today is Jeff Alban. Jeff is the artistic director and conductor of the Blue Ridge Singers. And we go to their concerts a lot. In fact, we were just talking before we started that the last concert we went to was 2019.
December of
and
2019.
We videotaped that, and you can check it out on the Royal Examiner. It's on our YouTube channel, and it's moving. It's great. But today we're going to talk about the upcoming concert, and that is the Christmas concert.
That's correct.
And it's always a good one. I mean, it's always good. Christmas time is always a good time to put on concerts. It seems like people are available to go.
Well, everyone always associates Christmas with choral music.
Yes.
There's always the church connection there and
Sure.
singing Christmas carols, and it's a part of the season. And it's been rough for the last 18 months where we have not really had that component of our Christmas.
Exactly.
So our Christmas program title coming up this December is going to be called Sweeter Still, which is after one of the pieces in our program by the same name, Sweeter Still, a holiday carol by one of my favorite composers, Eric Barnum. And we presented this piece the very first Christmas. I was the artistic director of the choir. And it's one of my all-time favorite pieces that we've ever done. And the text is very heartfelt and sentimental, and it's elegantly simple. And when you see our program flyers, you'll notice that I have the word still in italics, because the music still is important in our lives. So we cannot wait to get back on the performing arts stage and to share some music with our community.
It's great. It's great. It's always moving, too. I was talking to my wife the other day about, we were in a Mexican restaurant, and the music was playing, and I made a comment. I said, isn't it strange that the music is so international? It doesn't really change, you know what I mean, as far as, and a lot of these composers are people that we never heard of, most people, and they're all in foreign languages, and yet the music is still sweeter.
Well, music itself is a universal language.
It is.
It's the same little black note heads with the stems on a staff. And the language really doesn't make any difference.
No, it doesn't, does it? It doesn't seem to make a difference. We still enjoy it.
It's the aesthetic of the result of the combinations of all those notes. And on this particular program, we're going to have everything. Like I already mentioned the Sweeter Still,
Right.
which is an American choral composition, but an original melody. But we'll also have a Tyrolean carol from Austria, the Kling, Glichen, Kling, which is a little bell carol. We'll have a gospel spiritual, Children Go Where I Send Thee. We'll have a rousing setting of Deck the Halls in irregular meter, so it's just a little bit off kilter, not the way you would normally expect it. And some Renaissance polyphony from William Byrd. And there will be something on the program that everyone can connect with.
That's great. That's one thing I love about your concerts. They're really good. You know, we keep thinking about, choral music is, what's the word, a little uppity sometimes, but it's not. I mean, you bring it down to earth, and it's really good, and it's done in such a professional way. Sometimes, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Oh, good. And I'm glad to hear you say that you find the programming down to earth.
It is.
Because that's really how I want it to be.
Yeah.
My first concern always when developing a program is the audience.
Right.
It's got to be something that's going to, keep their attention for a while. And even if it's something that's not their thing, it can at least broaden their horizons. But there's something in the program that everyone can latch onto. I always used to say in my program notes during the concert, I always use my parents as the first guideline for picking music. Is this something that they would enjoy?
Right.
And then we go from there.
That's always a good one.
But at the same time, I always have the consideration for expanding and increasing the level of the music that the choir is doing so that we can improve our own musicianship,
Sure.
our musical aptitude, and just what we can do. So, as I said before, this concert coming up, just because of everything that's going on and we're trying to get back into the swing of singing again, the majority of the repertoire on the concert is material that we have done before. Again, Sweeter Still. But just to make sure that we could rehearse the repertoire and get it to performance-ready status.
Sure.
So that we can make a good concert for everyone.
So when is this concert going to take place?
There's going to be 3 of them this December, and we're introducing a new concert venue as well. Starting on December 5th, that's a Sunday at 4 o'clock, we'll be at the First Baptist Church of Winchester. And then the following weekend, December 10th, at the Front Royal Presbyterian Church at 7:30, and then Sunday, December 12th, also at 4 p.m. at the Trinity Episcopal Church in Upperville.
That's a new one.
Our accompanist, Dan Miller, he recently became the new director of music there at Trinity Church in Upperville. And he invited us to come out there and sing, and it's a great space to sing in. They have a great organ, great piano, and just a really beautiful church building and a good acoustic to sing in.
I was going to say, it's always the acoustics, isn't it?
Always.
I was going to make a comment about years ago in the Singers, when years before that, when I was in the Air Force Band as a recording engineer, and one of my groups was the Singers that would go out. In fact, there was, when I came out here, one of the members had retired and was in the Blue Ridge Singers. This was a long time ago. I think it was the Blue Ridge Singers. Maybe it was in another group. But,
could be.
Could be. But I think they were. And it's just amazing how people had just taken that singing. And that was kind of a similar group, the Air Force Singers. There were people that of all walks of life and young people, and how professional I want to call them musicians. And I always marveled at one of the other groups we did. I worked with the Airmen of Note, and we would go out to Hollywood and we record vocalists from back in the 40s and 50s, 60s, and they would come up with their charts, and there was always a hole in the music for the vocalist. It was like the music was written for the vocalist, and we kind of miss that today. It seems like there's not a place for the vocalist to go. It's like they fight the musicians all the time, especially in popular music.
True.
And but people don't treat the vocalist as a musician like they used to. I don't think. Maybe, and of course, I'm kind of throwing it out there and geeking you off.
Depends what circle we're talking
well,
about
that's
here.
True. I'm talking about
on the popular music scene, maybe so.
Yeah.
On the classical music scene, it all depends on what ensemble you're dealing
but
with.
the vocalist is a musician.
Absolutely.
And that's the point I was trying to make, is how professional these people are. And
singers are the original musician.
That's exactly.
I mean, we have the instrument inside ourselves.
Yeah. What was that the Rolling Stones said about the drummer or something? I remember a comment said, "Yeah, he's my backup for the singer." Most musicians don't care for that, I'm sure, but it's true.
I mean, our choirs, we have all kinds of people in it. I mean, people who have come to me who just want to start singing again.
Right.
People who have been involved in singing professionally before. We have teenagers in the choir also who are looking to get their singing careers started. And just people who love to sing.
Yeah.
And the personnel makeup of the choir always makes the difference. Because when it's people who really want to be there to improve themselves and then to help improve the group overall, it makes my job as the conductor that much easier and fulfilling. Because to watch the people truly improve their ability, not only as a singer, but just a musician, and then we have the camaraderie of the group, it's just a really fulfilling, satisfying experience.
Well, I can tell that they all enjoy it and that they're there because exactly what you just said. They want to be there.
The one thing we're always trying to work on is audience engagement. Now, I can do that easily myself when I turn around and talk to the people.
Exactly.
But when it's showtime, I am not looking at the audience anymore. And I always remind the choir, it's that it is your job to communicate this music to them.
Exactly.
And it's not just singing the notes and the words. It's communicating the notes and the words to them. And you have to do this not only by the way you sing the music, but how your face looks when you're singing it. You should reflect how the music sounds in your person. And, I mean, it makes that much difference to the audience member. And we always have the discussion before every concert that we're here to help make a difference for the people who are attending. And I learned this in my undergraduate days at Duquesne University with Dr. Allred. He would always say, if it makes a difference for one person, the whole effort will be worth it. And considering everything that we have been through in the last year and a half, 2 years, I think we could all use a drop of happiness and joy.
We can. It is, and it does do it. And you're right. People communicate with their eyes, and you've watched singers or any kind of performer, and you see the facial expressions and you see their eyes, and that's how we really get the message, I think.
Absolutely.
And it's important.
And, we always collect comments from the audience members. And, the choir is always very hesitant to do what I ask. What else is new? But when the comments come back and we see that we really appreciated that the singers looked at us and we could see the joy on their faces because of the singing. And I bring this to the rehearsal and I read it to them out loud, and initially they're in disbelief, but they have finally come to understand that that is almost 80% of the job.
It is.
And it just makes the performance that much more convincing and meaningful to the listener.
When people watching us can tell that you're excited about it because I see it in your eyes.
Well, I'm glad to be back out singing and running rehearsals again. I mean, it's what I do.
Right.
My job over at St. John's, I've all throughout COVID, I was just running the music by myself, doing all the chanting by myself, playing the organ by myself. And it was only until I finally started getting a couple of small choirs going and the cantors back into the swing of things that it became just a little bit more enjoyable. Because, being in an ensemble is a different thing than just being the soloist.
Sure.
Because you get to work with other people to make the music together. So it's a little bit different than when you're just the soloist.
Well, we do appreciate all the work that you do with the Blue Ridge Singers, and I know quite a few of them, and they do a great job. You do a great job. It's entertaining. It's even actually more than entertaining. It's moving, and it helps. It's a great evening or an afternoon out, and we're looking forward to it in December.
Well, thank
so
you.
Those dates again are December the 5th, December the 10th, and December the 12th. Some people go to all three.
Oh, I know. There are repeat attenders.
We have Blue Ridge Singer groupies.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We're happy to have you.
It's great.
And we thank you for all your support and help for the
we
choir.
hope that we'll be there. We'll go over to the Front Royal Presbyterian Church again, and we're having it on our calendar to record, so people miss that as always. And we get a lot of views on those things. It's surprisingly that people will watch that, years later, but they do. They cruise through YouTube and watch it.
That's another thing. If you like a song, you can always come back and hear it again.
That's exactly right. It's great. Well, Jeff, I really appreciate, again, all the things that you do, help our community in the holiday spirit this year. We need it. And your little part will make a big difference, I think, in a lot of people's lives. I think it's back to that normalcy that we need to get back to things, like they were.
Well, that is definitely the goal.
That's it. Again, appreciate it so much, you, and say hi to all the singers.
Will do.
We'll see you in December.
You got it.